Thank you for the warm introduction. So, hi everyone. Oh, you don't look like an engineer. Many female engineers hear this in a way or another, and I think it's very discouraging. Imagine that I'm not sure what people expect to see when they meet a female engineer. Maybe this fluffy, pinky stuff with 3 eyes? I don't know. I am Monica, and I'm proud to be an engineer because it offered me the opportunity to build cool stuff, and this is something that motivates me every morning. I'm programming since high school. My first program was in Pascal. I have a computer science degree, and I did a lot of programming. C, Golang, Python, and Bash, one of my favorite ones. Here I'm working for Elastic, the company behind open source projects like Elasticsearch, Kibana, Logstash, and Beats. And here I'm leading a team that is responsible for Beats and Logstash, as well as turnkey solutions that are built on the Beats platform. Like, for example, we are building a monitoring and a logging solution, or more recently, we started also a security solution. My team, any team in Elastic is led by 3 people. One is team lead, the other one is tech lead, and also a product lead. As you see here, our team is having a really good ratio of female engineers. There are 2 out of 3. In our team, we have 41 people, and out of which 4 are women. I think the ratio here is pretty bad, considering that 2 of those females are technical writers. And if I look here in the audience, I see a lot of guys. So if you're a guy, let's do a tough exercise and put yourself in the shoes of the woman in tech. Why not? So imagine you are a software engineer at the beginning of your career. You just finished a computer science university, and you are surrounded by guys. You are a minority also in university, but the ratio here is much worse. You don't think this is a problem because you like everyone in the team. So you have no experience, so you will get asked to build testing tools that you can use later for testing. You always have this feeling that you are not able to accomplish as much as your male colleagues. So we're going to work harder and harder in order to be seen by the others. Apparently, it looks like you are doing a good job because you get raised, you get the task to build more testing tools and to do more testing. You also have the feeling, you get the feeling that you are pushed towards QA, even that wasn't your choice. On the other hand, you look at your male colleagues that have a similar experience as you, and they are doing more challenging tasks than you. So you feel like it's not fair, and you go and speak with your manager, and they insist the importance of QA and how much they need you in that role. So you feel stuck in the company because you are afraid to go and apply for a different company. Mostly because you have the feeling that you didn't practice your coding skills as much as your male colleagues. So how this makes you feel? What do you do? I think there are ways for you to go out of this situation. But unfortunately, women decide not to deal with this crap and leave the industry. And statistics say that 40% of female engineers decide to leave the industry after they get their own degree. There was a study done recently, and they interviewed 716 women that left the industry. And from all of those, 27% cited workplace culture as a reason for them to leave tech. Also, for me and my first job, they didn't believe me that I'm able to code. So they gave me the task to build testing tools that I can use later for testing. At the beginning, I found it interesting, the job, but once the tools were done, the job was mainly about testing. I was lucky enough to get a proposal from a startup in Berlin to build in my spare time an SBC for voice over IP networks. So this thing was making me so excited, and I really enjoyed it, that I was staying nights to work on this. And soon I realized that my part-time job is giving me more satisfaction than my day-to-day job. So I decided to quit my job and join the startup. And I think there are so many things that can go wrong in the first job that you have. And I think it's very important for both men and women not to give up and continue finding the job that makes them flourish every day. And if you don't find a job that fits your requirements, there is always the option to start your own company. As I said, I was working for this startup in Berlin doing a monitoring solution for voice over IP networks. After a few years, the company got acquired by a big company. So the culture started to change. And this is something that I didn't really like. So I decided to do something foolish and start my own company. And I wanted to build a more generic monitoring solution for distributed systems, not only for voice over IP networks. So I did everything by myself. So I created a legal entity in Germany. I built a product, I built a website, I created a logo, and I did marketing around it. So the first version that I created was closed source, and it was consisted of an agent that you install in your server and collects all the network packets, and then decodes upper layer protocols, and then pushes the data into a MongoDB. And then I had a custom UI that you can use to visualize the data. I had a hard time convincing startups in Berlin to give a try to my prototype. They found it interesting, but the problem was that most of those startups, they were already using a monitoring solution, so they didn't really have the time to create or to try another monitoring solution. At that time, I learned about Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. This was the early time of the ELK stack. And I realized that this fits very well with what I'm trying to do. So I decided to throw away everything I did. I open sourced the agent, and I was calling it Packybit. And then I was using Elasticsearch to store the data and also analyze the data, and Kibana to visualize the data. And after that, we started to, someone posted on Hacker News, it got a bit of popularity, and soon I realized, and then people started to contribute to Packetbit, and soon I realized the power of open source. That makes it easier for you to build a community around the project. Soon after that, I started to have discussions with Shai and Simon, two of the founders of Elastic. And then we realized that we have a common vision, so we joined forces with Elastic. And Packetbit was the first edition of the Elastic Beats. Statistics say that on GitHub, projects have 5% of the projects have a female owner. This doesn't mean that the rest of the 95% have a male owner. Studies say that a lot of those authors use a gender-neutral username. Those can also be some women, right? But you don't only have to start a project, an open source project. You can also contribute to an existing open source project. And statistics say that even women concentrate on fewer projects as men, they have a higher acceptance rate. 78.6% compared to 74.6%. And I think by contributing to an open source project can bring you a lot of opportunities. For example, you can get a better job, you can learn a new programming language, or you can become an expert in a new area. from those 760 women that were interviewed, 68% of those cited motherhood as a reason for them to leave tech. However, it's interesting to note that less than 6% of those said they left tech because they wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe many of female engineers and new moms are wondering themselves if they can continue their career path after becoming a mom. And the answer is clear, yes. And there are so many examples out there. There are so many women with C titles that have 3 kids at home. There are many of you here in the audience that are new moms and can be an example for the other new moms. I think, in my opinion, it's very important to work for a company that is offering you a right environment that allows you to also be a mom as well. For example, I have a friend, and she's an architect. She's not in tech. She has to work. She had to stay in the office until 7 p.m. because her daughter was going to sleep at 8 p.m. That was giving her really little time to spend with her during the day. So she decided that she doesn't want to live like this. So she decided to specialize in something else that allows her to have a more flexible schedule. I think it's important for you to find a balance between work and family. And I think the first step towards that is to learn to be organized. You know that you have all this time where you can work, and you have all these tasks that you need to do, and then you learn to think twice if this is a task that you really need to do. You learn to prioritize your task in order to still accomplish something during the day. So if you want, in a way, parenthood makes you more efficient. And I'm happy to see there are more and more conferences out there that offer childcare. For example, OSCON, they have a kids' day where they learn Python programming or Raspberry Pi programming. Well, of course, you're going to say this is for older kids. It's more and more common nowadays that parents are coming with their babies to the conference and even present on stage, like this proud dad here. Probably you will find very strange this picture, because it's a guy on the stage, but with a baby. So I think it's up to us to change the mentality and involve more and more dads to spend time with their kids. If you have a partner, can you imagine how much time you will save by just involving your partner? If you split the load equally between you and your partner, then dads will get more time to spend with their kids, and then women will be able to spend more time at work and will be able to care about how she can grow in her career. Statistics say that 45% of females want to become a CEO or some leadership position. Statistics, there were some, Gallup did a research on managers in US, and it looks like teams that are led by women are more engaged than the ones that are led by men. 41% compared to 45%. In reality, in tech companies, there are 22% female leaders, 16% that are in a technical role, and 29% overall. Becoming a manager may sound like a promotion, but in reality, it's a career change, because you are back to the junior level at many key skills. So you need to think twice if this is something that you really want to do. My advice, if you become a manager, I think it's good to continue to be as technical as possible, to continue to be up to date with the technologies, because this way you can speak the same language as your engineers, so you can empathize with them. You can also understand better their concerns. I got this question recently, from where did I learn to become a manager? And I didn't really know how to answer this. I was involved in a few manager trainings, but I can say that none of those had a huge impact on me. There are so many trainings out there, there are so many books that can be useful, but I think none of them compare to you getting the experience of becoming an engineer or becoming a manager. So that's why I would like to take a few minutes and say what I've seen is working as a manager, and I think they are important to have a healthy culture in your team. I'm a big believer of servant leadership. That means that the manager is there to help the engineers succeed in their jobs. They are not there to split the task or to micromanage. They are there to help when it's needed. I think it's very important for a company to offer a flexible schedule that allows people to do what they like, that allows people to make them happy. Every person is different, and every person has different interests. For example, if you are someone and want to participate to the marathon, you will need to train every morning. So it will be really difficult for you to come to the office before 11 a.m. On the other hand, if you are a parent, you need to leave the office early in order to pick up your kids from daycare or from school. I think in the end, the results of each individual is what matters for the success of the company and not how many hours you spend in the office. That's why in our team, we don't track how many hours each individual worked. And the way we do it is that we look at the results on a larger period of time, for example, a quarter, and then we see how they did. And by doing this, you show them that you trust them to take the right decisions on the day-to-day basis. Having happy employees brings only benefits to the company. They are more motivated, more innovative, to come with new ideas that can become critical for the success of the company. And it's unlikely they will leave the company. That's why in our team we are trying to keep the roadmap as light as possible, so engineers don't have this pressure if they had a bad estimation. They also have the time and opportunity to do infrastructure changes or to do refactorings. And the most important thing for me is to try new ideas. And a good example here is a colleague of mine, Carlos, and he did a Docker and Kubernetes auto-discovery functionality in bits that allows metric bit and file bit to enable and disable modules depending on the containers in your infrastructure. For example, if you start an Nginx container, this automatically enables the Nginx module in file bit and metric bit to get the logs and metrics from that specific Nginx service. And this is something that he did only a few months. We, the engineers, we like to see our project grow from an idea to a release. And you, as a manager, probably this is something that you want to encourage engineers to do something like this. If I feel personal ownership about the project, then I'm more motivated, I care more about the quality of the project, then I'm more motivated to fix the bugs in that project, I'm more interested about the user experience of that project. That's why in our team, we try to give ownership to the engineers on a specific part. And it's very easy for us because we have so many bits that can be also split in smaller parts. Another thing that I'm I think it's important as a manager is to help engineers grow, especially with acquiring these leadership skills. When the team is growing, then you need more and more leaders. And I think this is a good opportunity for you to promote the people to those leadership positions. That's all. Thanks for listening. If you want to watch me on Twitter, I'm at Monica Sarbu. If you have questions about Elastic or about what I said about Bits or Logstash or about the monitoring solution that we are building, feel free to come and ask me the questions. Thank you for your time. Thank you.